Hi Cancer, this is Lunatics Tarot with a reading for anyone who identifies with the Cancerian energy during July 2018. Happy birthday to Cancer Sun Signs. And I'm going to save my thank yous and information for you on free personal readings for the end of the video so that we can jump right into your messages. So, messages for Cancer for July 2018 that I received before recording while shuffling the Deviant Moon Tarot and meditating with it. The Nine of Swords would not be silenced, would not stop jumping out of the deck, presenting itself upright. I tried to ignore it several times. It kept asking, well, not ignore it, but it kept asking to be acknowledged again and reinterpreted. And it also came out with the Lover's card reversed, and then Judgment reversed came out. So I think hopefully you're moving out of this energy today now. It's July 3rd as I'm recording, but either right now or very recently, the Cancer energy has been doubting its ability. We have been doubting our ability to stand on our own, specifically following a separation for a lot of us. But whether it's coming out of a partnership splitting or not, there is this doubt about standing on one's own, and we're lost in our mind about it. With the Judgment in reverse and the Nine of Swords showing up, definitely Cancers, these first messages at least are for Cancers who are lost in their mind, or have been at the end of June and beginning of July, maybe throughout July, for some of us. It's also affecting our power to manifest financial freedom, or affecting our choice to exercise that power more specifically. It's as if we have the skills to get the raise or the job that we want. We essentially have the ability to bring in the resources we feel like we need, but we're hesitant to accept the responsibility that goes along with having that amount of, probably literally, money. We're, again, doubting our ability to make those choices on our own about who to share it with, or how to perform tasks at a new job that we've never performed before, things like that. Just new responsibilities in general. And so we're not even allowing ourselves to imagine how great it could be. We aren't completing that vision of how amazing financial freedom would be, with the details, with the pros to match the cons. Yes, there would be weightier decisions to be made, but there would be a new sense of gratitude and lightness and easiness from which to make those decisions. And we're not allowing ourselves to complete that vision, that picture of how great it could be. And it's keeping us in a state of less wealth. We're choosing less wealth. We're telling ourselves we're comfortable enough. We have more than a lot of people. And that means we're not exercising self-love to the fullest extent, because we're depriving our mind, our body, and our spirit. And we're actually, when we do that, we're actually living at a more superficial level than we would be when we just acknowledge and admit our material desires and needs, and go about filling them. We are also hindering our own intuition in that state, and so we perpetuate the cycle again and again. It's easy to see how that could be a trap. And Cancers, we have a choice to make this month. We have a really important choice to make this month. The Two of Swords just came out covering us. I think that was all of the other messages regarding those situations, having trouble standing on our own, having trouble stepping into our power to manifest financial freedom and delegate where those resources go, and maintain the new job or promotion. Regarding those issues, or other issues, when in doubt, listen to your dreams. That's just always good advice in my opinion, but that also came up for us. So everything else can wait till the end after the reading, and I'll let you see these cards with me as they fall out. I think that's about right. Okay. So, the Two of Swords crossed with the Star. Some Cancers have a decision to make related to an Aquarius. That could be you if you have Aquarius somewhere in your chart, Cancers, or just an Aquarian who's very significant to you, maybe specifically in June. And yeah, like I said, I really hope we're moving out of that Nine of Swords energy. Starting to get some sleep, starting to remove some fear regarding those things we were talking about at this point. And in your crowning thoughts, you do have the Eight of Swords reversed. That to me says you're breaking out of self-imposed prisons. You're seeing the truth more clearly, realizing that you were skewing the truth for yourself, possibly coming out of a victim mentality. And that could be you or someone close to you. Now, the Star doesn't have to be an Aquarius either, of course. The Star could be speaking to healing, rejuvenating energy, gifts from Source, from Spirit, hope. The secret of renovation is a phrase I often see associated with the Star. So you have a choice to make, Cancer, and then the Three of Wands in your... Okay, so this is probably a choice related to a project you've been working on for a while, and or that you are very invested in. I always notice with the Three of Wands that it's seems to be depicting a mother overseeing her growing children, as it is literally growing out of this character, right? You're very attached to this project, this work. You are in it. It is part of you. Your happiness is dependent on its well-being. So I think it's a decision. This is all rooted in that type of project. Maybe, I think your last reading, Cancers, spoke primarily to Cancerian mothers. So if that reading resonated, this could be speaking, this could be talking about a pregnancy still, again. There's in any case, there's a decision to be made regarding this process that you are very invested in. Actually, these are both Aquarius cards. I was kind of sitting here wondering, why do I keep keep seeing the star as Aquarius. Of course, it can mean Aquarius. It can represent an Aquarian, but it means so many other things. And I just kept thinking, why do I keep seeing this as Aquarius? Well, the Two of Swords I often hear referred to as an Aquarius card as well. Queen of Swords showing as we're talking about this. The Knight of Swords down here. I keep feeling like this is a significant Aquarian. Definitely we're speaking to that part of you and of your chart if there's significant Aquarian in your own chart again. Or if you're just embodying that energy, right? Because Aquarians are really good at overthinking and so can put themselves in this mental prison that you seem to be breaking free of. In the recent past, you have the Knight of Swords, so that's more recent, you know, than when this project or this process began. Can sometimes be a reckless, immature character. Rushing in. Rushing in to I think this is your energy, rushing in to micromanage the project, to try to control this process that you were a little anxious waiting on to see how it would unfold. I think this part of you that tends to overthink, that tends to try to control things, and we all have that part that wants to manage. I think it rushed in to offer what it thought about this project. It could have been an Aquarius outside of you, an immature air sign outside of you. I think for a lot of Cancers, this is just part of them, though. And it led you to try to overthink something that is just a natural process and needed to just be given time. And you may have halted your own process, maybe a healing process, since the Star card is showing us what's crossing you, by trying to overthink it, by trying to rush it, make it go too quick. The Knight of Swords also shows conviction. He or she is very determined, but again can be reckless in trying to rush a conversation, an experience. And you kind of created a trap for yourself there. And it's led you to the place where you have a decision to make. And when your ego is quiet, you know that you need to release yourself, and that you are releasing yourself from that trap you created. And that healing is really underway now. It's flowing nicely. She only has just one that she's pouring out of in this depiction of the Star card, but it's flowing nicely, just like this water from this cup. Or possibly has just started. Maybe the healing has just begun from something. Or if not a healing, the project has been rejuvenated, and it's flowing nicely now. And you I just am not sure exactly what the decision is, and we'll get a clarifier on that. And then we've got, in the near future, the Four of Pentacles reversed. In this instance, this is your near future. I think this may be, since I was just speaking about allowing things to flow, I think this may speak to someone who's not holding on too tightly to anything, and so allowing resources and energy in general to flow easily in and out of their life. Because the Four of Pentacles is one of those cards that can be read as a positive or a negative, whether it's upright or reversed, to me, the way that I read. It just depends how it fits in to a particular reading for a particular querent. And this can mean that you're vulnerable, but it can also mean that you're in a place of being selfless, or doing selfless acts. It can mean that you're not saving your money, you're not protecting yourself, but it can also mean that you're just not holding on to money or resources so tightly that you're blocking the inflow along with the outflow, if that makes sense. I think you're just allowing things to flow nicely, just because of how speaking about that card flowed in right after talking about this flow. I think you're just not blocking good things from coming into your life by being overly protective. Maybe the self-imposed prison that you're coming out of is seeing that you don't need to be as protective of yourself, your work, the projects that you're passionate about, your personal healing journey, your story, as you thought you have needed to be. Oh, okay. So I keep saying, what's this decision? What's this decision? The Two of Swords can also speak about being peacefully armed and just having faith that you can trust your senses to protect you, but not needing to actually fight or defend oneself, but being at the ready to. That maybe for some Cancerians, perhaps there is no decision. Maybe this card is just depicting that in July you were at that peacefully armed place. And it's funny, I feel like it was Aquarius that got this card before, that I used that phrase for before. Maybe not in June, but in May, because I don't think I got it in Aquarian reading out in June. But I feel like their May reading spoke about this idea of having faith in your ability and one's ability to protect oneself, but not needing to not needing to defend, not needing to fight at the moment. Just knowing the swords are at hand if you need to. Two of Cups and your hopes or fears. But let's keep flowing in order. The Eight of Pentacles shows up in your inner world, doing work. Eight of Pentacles is work, is skill in material affairs. It speaks to maybe a handyman, an artist, someone who's talented with working with their hands, crafting things, building things, creating. Or just someone who is, working hard at any craft and with any work, just hard at work. And I think that's this healing energy flowing right down into the Eight of Pentacles. You're hard at work on yourself. You're hard at work on understanding yourself, healing yourself, opening yourself up to receiving, and allowing this flow of giving and receiving without having to be afraid, knowing you are peacefully armed. One can be. That it's only you who creates that fear and the need to hold on to it. Again, the need to protect both your projects that you're passionate about and your own personal journey that's very private to you, and just your life, your space, your home, your finances, yes, your energy, your time. Whom do you allow close to you? And then you've got the Two of Pentacles showing on the bottom of the deck, which you can't really see yet, but that makes me think for some Cancerians there is a decision, though. Some of you are still making the decision about this, about letting your guard down a little bit, opening your boundaries up a little bit. But in any case, I think you're working to understand yourself, develop yourself, improve yourself. You're working on your self-evolution. You're doing the kind of work that maybe no one sees on your inner world. You're hard at work. And that makes me want to say, you have to allow for how taxing that is. You have to care for yourself. Allow yourself to get the sleep you need, the naps you need, the meditation, the rest, the exercise that anyone working on something hard would need, even though people around you don't know what you're working on. They don't need to. It's your journey. The Page of Swords in reverse, showing up in your external world, your exterior world, is some harsh communication or some immature communication coming your way from someone else. And or a storm that is brewing around you, Cancers, that you might not see completely clearly yet. No one's trying to scare anyone in these readings, right? That is not productive. That is not the point. But it's part of what unfolds here in front of us. It's part of the deck. And this is one that, especially showing up in your external world as something that's coming in, is just a cautionary card, we'll say. I think because you are so focused on this inner work you are doing, and it is beautiful, amazing, worthy, noble work, Cancers, to define your boundaries and question your boundaries and just seek new levels of self-understanding and continue to evolve and to better oneself. It's essential. And when we are so deeply involved in that work and are doing it all on our own, no one else knows what's going on with us or needs to know, it's a private process, etc., we can miss things going on in our external world. That's just common sense tells us that, right? It's obviously we might not see that so-and-so's upset with us about XYZ, or that shit's about to hit the fan at work, or whatever. So it's just a cautionary card. It's just something to be aware of. Even though we may not want to take our mind away from this very delicate, important self-work we're doing. Be aware. Be aware of what's coming in at you. As aware as we can be. This could be talking about a storm that there's no way you have any way of seeing. And in that way, the deck just reminds us it's life. The unexpected will happen at some point, right? And again, it's not something to be afraid of. Fear is what we're coming out of, in fact, right? And the Two of Cups is your hopes or fears. You want trust, you want commitment, you want bonds, you want close friendships, romantic partnerships, your all familiar relationships in your life to be... I'm sorry if this music has been too loud, it fluctuates a little bit. You want all of your close relationships to be real bonds. Of course we do, we're Cancers. We want there to be real trust there. Some level of real commitment to one another. I think that's what you're trying to get back to. Not necessarily in a romantic partnership, but that too. Just trust in general. Just closeness and bonds in general. You want some. You want to feel safe in the ones you have again. And that's why the work that you're doing on your inner world, and you already know this, is for everyone that you touch in your life, everyone that you meet, everyone certainly that you have a close relationship. It's for everyone around you. You want to be able to connect in this Two of Cups way, to understand mutually that it is a bond of trust and what that love is. Again, yes, to form a couple potentially, eventually, or to strengthen the bond in the couple you're already a part of. To make commitments at work, with your co-workers, that type of trust as well. To share your emotions openly with someone's, and to do so wisely, though. To do so wisely. If this is harsh communication that's coming in from someone else outside of you, this could be the same character as this Knight of Swords here. It could have been someone else rushing in with opinions and thoughts about your project that you've had going on for a while. And that's in the recent past, and presently they're still communicating in a harsh and immature way with you. And then we have the High Priestess and your outcome. I see I hate to skip over this little part of Alan Watts talking. I love to listen to him talk, but we'll just skip right along to music. Let's see. The High Priestess in your outcome. Listening to your intuition in general for some Cancers. A Taurus, it could be, in the outcome of the situation, if that fits somehow for you. Again, most notably for those of you who have Taurus in your chart, fully embodying that part of yourself, that part of your chart, I think we'll see by the end of July. But whether or not you know of Taurus energy in your chart, it's embodying that energy. And the High Priestess isn't always Taurus to everyone. That's what I heard most often first and got acquainted with. But others associate other signs with it. But embodying that energy of one who holds a lot of knowledge, specifically probably esoteric knowledge, holds a lot of secret knowledge, and is usually very psychic, and sort of, I don't want to say monitors, but hangs out in that gateway between the seen world and the unseen world. Wears, and in many ways is, the veil between the seen and the unseen world, the accepted and world, and the seemingly unanswerable questions that lie beyond the veil, right? She knows both worlds. She walks in both worlds. Hangs out at that gate, though, really, in between. And right now, I feel like saying she doesn't really guard these secrets, the unknown. She just holds these secrets. It's not that others aren't allowed to know her secrets. It's a matter of people being interested in asking the questions and understanding the answers to them. She often does represent someone who is keeping secrets. She can, yes. But right now I'm realizing why that doesn't always jive with me, doesn't always really fit. It's because her nature isn't really so much to keep them from people, but or to guard them even, but to know them, to hold them, to guard them in the sense of protecting them, ensuring that they remain, that someone who understands them remains, someone continues to hold that wisdom up as being as valuable as it is, even when others stray away from it. But again, yeah, she's not guarding it in the sense of, well, you can't know this. Again, sometimes she can represent someone who is guarding secrets, but I think here she's showing up as someone who just has the wisdom and has the knowledge, and it is available to other people. It's on the table, but they would have to ask the right questions, and they would have to understand the answers to them. She will hand you the book of knowledge. She's not going to show you how to read it. She maybe, she can't. That's your journey. And she may seem like someone who is purposefully keeping secrets from someone simply because her answers don't make sense to them. That's a lot, but I think what I'm getting at here is that with you allowing this inflow of good into your life, with you allowing an inflow and outflow of good energy, resources in and out of your life, I think part of that is that you, Cancer, are a valuable open book for people. You have wisdom, you have answers to questions, but you can't be a valuable resource to them if you don't let them in, if you don't let them ask the questions, if you don't converse with people, if you don't have your boundaries far enough down that you can communicate in some way. Peacefully armed. Peacefully armed. Both cards showing this crossing of the arms, the exact same crossing of the arms here, right? Creating this X. Peacefully armed. July shows us letting our guard down a little. Still at the ready to protect ourselves, but acknowledging that our healing journey means learning to trust, learning to make these bonds, these commitments again, allowing people in, allowing ourselves to give to our fullest capacity and extent to others, which means, again, inflow and outflow. They have to be let in to a certain extent to see what they need to see, so that we can give what we want to give. And there's a way to protect oneself peacefully. One's projects. And with that inflow of energy, with that in and outflow of energy, I think it will be directly connected to that in and outflow of literal money that we were talking about in the messages from before I recorded. Being able to attain financial freedom because we're not blocking our boundaries and trapping ourselves. Basically, the Four of Pentacles itself can sum a lot of it up. You know, you can't block people out to the extent that nothing can come in either. Okay. I feel like I figured the whole thing out. Oops. I feel like I figured the whole thing out without clarifiers. But we'll get clarifiers anyway. What was the first one? Well, let's get a clarifier on Six of Pentacles, inflow and outflow. How can you see this? Six of Pentacles is knowing who to give to. This is knowing, can represent charity, certainly empathy. It reminds us that empathy nurtures our own growth and others' growth. He seems to be giving more to one than to the other, but that's just pictured here. I think it's reiterating that message of inflow and outflow. Giving back when one has to give. So some of what we're seeing here, Cancer, is that I'm speaking to Cancers who have been through experiences in their lives that have caused them to be overly protective of their boundaries. And so they have shut people out. And that's why this message is about learning to trust and make bonds and commitments again, and how letting things in and out will also begin to let greater financial abundance in and out as well. And this is the Six of Pentacles, talking about finances, in fact. But I think what you have to give is the wisdom you've gained from those possibly traumatic experiences that led you to be closed off. And ironically, you know, the experience gave you the wisdom to share. And then the Hierophant. Ironically, the experience gave you the wisdom to share, but also made you too afraid to get close to people, close enough to communicate the lessons you'd learned. And we're finally getting to a place where we can open up and allow these lessons to show again. And that's what we are very wealthy in now. and what we have to give, and we know who to give it to, in fact. And then with the Hierophant showing as a clarifier on the High Priestess, I mean, this could be, a lot of readers see this as representing marriage. This can be thought of as a couple of sorts. This is also faith and ritual, possibly a humble teacher. And with the Two of Cups here, and this being a marriage card, I could also be saying, if you ever want to get to that level of romantic commitment, for those of you who are on your way or are nowhere near it, either one, if you really want to get to that marriage, romantic bond level, you can tell I don't know what I'm talking about. Obviously, these are gaps we will have to bridge. We're going to have to learn to commit and form bonds again, and be vulnerable enough to share these lessons and these hard experiences first with people who are just, again, co-workers, friends, family members, whomever. But that would have to be a stage one would have to go through first to ever get to this level of romantic partnership, long-term, committed, soulful partnership that could result in a marriage, if that's what you're looking for, Cancers, if that's what you feel like you're on your way to. So that's the outcome and the near future. Let's go ahead and get a clarifier on the Two of Pentacles, because I'm just not sure what that one's about. It's about the Ace of Wands in reverse. So this could speak to Cancers who are trying to juggle something and their energy is misdirected. Can you see this at all? Well, she's juggling there. Well, she's sort of, actually looks like she has tambourines. She's like a gypsy character with tambourines, it looks like to me. And she's like dancing and shaking, and it's almost like she's misdirecting someone else, maybe. But it's the Ace of Wands in reverse that speaks of misdirected energy to me. Usually, or someone just not being ready for something. Okay, so if the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles are speaking to a decision about intimacy, Cancers, I don't think you're ready. That's completely up to you, but there's no reason not to be honest with yourself about that. If you're just learning to trust and form friendships and bonds of that nature again, and you're questioning, am I ready for something really intimate, physically intimate, or intimate on this spiritual soul level, maybe not. Just ask yourself that question honestly, I guess, is the advice, and be honest about the answer, because that could also be saying there is a decision regarding that level of intimacy. And sharing these tarot readings with people, that's intimate sharing. Sharing with a friend, sharing with a family member, sharing your work with the world, that is intimate sharing. That's a part of you that's and especially this work here in this spread with the Three of Wands, that's a part of you. You're invested in it, and people's reaction to it, that's intimate. So look at it like that. If we're talking about physical intimacy with someone, that's different. That's a new level. That's an awful lot. And again, just ask yourself and answer honestly. It's okay to not be ready for that. It's okay for that to be part of this process that's further down the road. Let's do one more clarifier. Let's clarify the Three of Wands. Five of Swords in reverse. And then on the bottom of this deck, we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. I don't know where we could fit it in, though. So the Five of Swords in reverse. Well, it just doesn't fit into this picture, but it's there. The Five of Swords in reverse is fights being over, a truce being struck, a feud ending, people making up, resolving a conflict. And in relation to the Three of Wands, which is established confidence, having taken a first step or having made a first decision regarding a project you're probably passionate about. It's as if it's saying the hard part is over. The hardest part of this situation was in the foundation of it. That first decision you had to make. The decision to begin the healing. The decision to free yourself from that mental trap. To lower your boundaries with someone. Maybe you lowered your boundaries with someone and it was another... it was just proof yet again of how badly that can hurt you. That recently happened to me, Cancer, so it very well may be relevant. It was the first time after it was the first time in a long time that I allowed myself to really trust someone. After a traumatic experience. And they let me down big time. Echoed experiences, echoed the very experience that had shut me down from trusting. It was rough. It's still rough. And that could be why it's the Five of Swords here showing. Maybe it's coming out of a battle for you to make it to this point. To make it to this High Priestess point. But that, again, that's the hardest part. The decision to trust again was the hardest part. Once it's done, it's done. And it did not completely close me down from taking that chance again. I will take it again. I'll say this. In the moment when I found out that this person had betrayed me, gone behind my back, that this finally had trusted someone again, and this is the way it went. In that moment, I suppose you could say I dissociated, but it was unlike anything else I'd ever experienced in my life. Source or spirit or the loving energy of all of the lovely readers that I connect with via their monthly readings on YouTube, who had tried to prepare me for that moment, and I didn't want to listen. Whatever it was, something cushioned the blow. It still sucked, and like I said, it still hurts. But in that moment, something cushioned the blow. Something took the impact. I was very aware what was going on, but it was surreal. I went out of body a little bit, and I was able to giggle about what had just happened. I wasn't losing my mind. I wasn't losing it. I remember thinking, God, I'm being so mature right now. I was so calm and capable of receiving this unpleasant feeling and information. And if nothing else, it was because on some level I knew that I had done the work. I opened up again. I trusted again. I gave you my heart to break again. I was just wowed at my own capacity to feel these things again and again and keep loving and keep trusting and keep taking chances. It took me years to try again after that traumatic event. And I just had to giggle that that's the way that it ended up going. And something took, like I said, something took that impact for me. Something took the blow because I didn't believe I deserved to feel it. I didn't deserve to feel it. I didn't, and I knew that I had done the work and honestly was grateful and happy that someone had led me to trust again, even if it was just to find out it's going to go this way a lot, isn't it? It was a magical experience. One of the top, maybe 3 magical experiences in my life. Definitely top 5. It was freeing and liberating, and maybe I am supposed to share that. Maybe I was, because, well, if you've done the hardest part of making the decision to trust again, but you haven't had to apply it yet, you haven't had to act on it yet, you know you're going to, you can take that for what it's worth in truly believing that you've done the work, which you're obviously doing, and truly believing that you deserve to find this worthy commitment, which you're obviously heading toward eventually. You know, I'm not going to say that's going to be by the end of July. I'm going to try to refrain from making those type of promises in general. Sometimes the cards just get me excited and I forget myself, but I'm going to try to refrain from those types of promises. But in believing that you're really headed toward that, even just eventually, that you're worthy of it, that you're on that path, you're on that journey, and certainly worthy of at least just harmonious bonds and connections and real love, even if it's not in the form of a romantic partner. That you've done the hard work of opening up again after being hurt, etc. Yeah, I believe something very well may cushion that blow for you then, when those hard moments do arise. It was very, very real for me. Some part of me, that's why I keep saying I think it's just the belief that I had done the work and that I didn't deserve that sort of padded it. Like, and doing this work, doing these readings too, like something greater was like holding me. Like, you have work to do, you're on a good path, you're heading somewhere good, this just isn't your stop. And it was like some part of myself saying that to myself, holding me down in that moment. Choice. I love that this card keeps coming up. I think this is the 3rd time. And I wonder if this has already been an advice card for you, Cancer. I have done 2 Cancer readings. This card reminds us that we have choices in everything we do, okay? If you choose to open these boundaries up, it's your choice. If you choose to protect yourself, it's your choice. If you choose to go on your healing journey that really you will remain on your whole life, that's your choice. If you choose to abstain from any of those actions, it's your choice. If you chose to take yourself out of this fight, you chose to invest yourself in this project, you choose to remain peacefully armed, to be on this healing journey, you chose to free yourself from limiting beliefs. You chose to allow this part of you to come in and micromanage, or this other person to come in and try to rush and manage your work. You chose to remain vulnerable still so that an inflow and outflow can happen. You're choosing to do this hard work. You will choose how you interact with the immature communication that's coming in during July from external forces, people outside of yourself. That will be your choice. How diplomatic you are, how harsh you are, whether or not you allow them to take up your time and energy. You hope for this bond. It will be your choice whether or not you form it. If you're considering intimate connections with someone, it's your choice. Honestly, I want one more clarifier on the Two of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands reversed. And coming to embody this wise, maybe wise, humble teacher, heading toward being a wise and humbled teacher by the end of July, summer, going into August, maybe. That's your choice. And so in that, and having made those choices with your free will along the way, you are leading yourself to a deserving place where even if you choose to trust the wrong person again and they let you down, you will be able to handle it. The Three of Cups. Okay, the Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands in the reverse, and now the Three of Cups, which I don't think you're going to be able to see. So maybe you're celebrating, you're having a good time, collaborating, rejoicing with friends that you're reconnecting with or new friends that you're making, maybe drinking, partying, and that introduces you to potential romantic partners, that introduces you to sexual situations that, again, you may not be ready to embark on. And I think that could be what she's juggling here. She wants to go out and have a good time, but we don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time, right? She wants to go out and be among the living, the social, go to maybe even clubs and bars, but certainly social situations, and vibe a bit and have a good time and meet these men or women, to meet these potential partners. He or she wants that, and then might not be ready to take it to the next level. And that might be what we're balancing. So, you know, it's your choice how much you drink. It's your choice whose company you keep. It's your choice. Let's look at the choice card, just what I have highlighted for it, and then I have to let you go. Choice creates reality. Belief is a choice, and you're in that energy. When your ego is quiet, you know that you can release yourself from the prisons you're in, and you're doing it this month. So you already know that. Choose wisely. Stop procrastinating. Be responsible for your choices. Awareness empowers all, I will add. It specifies the meaning, the past position, the present, and the future. It doesn't specify as an advice card, and I like using these as advice because they are so wise. Let's see. You may believe that you have no choice, but that in itself is a choice. You are a product of your choices and the choices of others. All comes back to choice. Choice offers reward and consequence. Inaction is a choice. And in this deck, this author wants to emphasize that whether you believe it or not, she believes you are blessed with free will, the power to act and choose independently and determine your future. And I believe so in many, many moments as well. With that, I do have to try to stop this at about an hour. Thank you so much for those of you who have liked, shared, subscribed, donated, and requested personal readings already. Thank you so much. And please continue to do all those things. I love hearing how the readings resonated with you as well. And all of your messages for me are truly just as appreciated as you are telling me that mine are for you. They really are. And oh, I wanted to mention free personal readings. If you would like a free reading from me, just email lunartixtarot@gmail.com. I'll have that email in the description below. And there is no charge unless you would prefer to purchase a paid reading option. So there are still a few options for paid readings. Those will ensure you get your reading within 72 hours and that you get that length of time with me. Otherwise, the free readings I'm really excited to offer to everyone who needs or wants one, and I will get to them as soon as I can. The message will be as long as it is. And I will have those PayPal links below as well if you wanted the paid reading option instead. Oh, definitely check out Queen Cup Tarot. She's another reader that you can ask for free readings from, that you can request a free reading from. She does remind you to be patient. Apparently she's had quite a few requests already, but she really inspired that shift of focus for me, so in my personal reading. So thank you to her again. And with that, I will have the rest of the July readings up as soon as possible. I'm sorry if you went to look for your June or May reading and it wasn't there. That wouldn't be for Cancer. Well, if you went to look for another one of your readings and it wasn't there, from this point forward, I really do believe I can get all 12 monthly readings out at least. I'd like to do a mid-month. Yeah, happy birthday again to Cancer Sun signs. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm sending you all so much love, Cancers. I hope you make very wise choices throughout the rest of July, and I can't wait to do another reading for you.